Dinagyang begins with a story older than Iloilo city, older than the festival itself, and older even than the drum beats that now define it. Its roots go back to one of the Philippines' most enduring legends, the Barter of Panay. For generations, the people of Panay Island have told of the arrival of 10 Bornean datus, chieftains fleeing political upheaval in what is now Borneo. According to the tale, these datus sailed across the seas until they reached the shores of Panay, inhabited by the Ati, the island's indigenous people. Instead of war or conquest, what happened next became the foundation of the whole legend. The story tells us that the datus offered gold, jewellery and rich cloth, and the Ati in turn granted them the right to settle in the island's lowlands. In some versions, the datus even crowned Ati chief Maracudo with a golden salakot as part of the agreement. Though historians continue to debate which parts of the legend are literal history and which are mythic embellishment, the tale remains deeply symbolic, speaking of peaceful negotiation, coexistence, and respect between peoples. For Iloilo, the Barter of Panay legend became more than a story. It became a cultural anchor, a reminder that their island's beginnings were defined by understanding rather than domination. And when Dinagyang was born centuries later, this legend became one of the creative wellsprings from which the festival draws its visual motifs, thematic narratives, and performative inspiration. But although the legend is ancient, the Dinagyang festival itself is not. Its true origin is rooted not in pre-colonial rituals, but in Catholic devotion. Everything began in 1967, when Reverend Father Ambrosio Galindez, an Augustinian priest in Iloilo, introduced the devotion to the Santo Niño, the Holy Child Jesus. He had witnessed Aklan's Ati-Atihan celebration, and inspired by its merging of indigenous imagery and Catholic faith, he brought the same devotion to Iloilo. In 1968, a replica of the Santo Niño de Cebu was gifted to Iloilo's San Jose parish. Its arrival sparked joyous processions through the city's streets, with devotees singing, chanting, and celebrating in honour of the child Jesus. This event, which began as a purely religious observance, slowly evolved into something larger, the earliest version of what the world now knows as Dinagyang. At first, the celebration was modest. Parishioners processioning with the Santo Niño, performing rituals inspired by their Aklanon counterparts. The focus was spiritual reverence. But as the years passed, Iloilo added its own flavour. More stylised performances, more choreographed dances, more elaborate costumes, and more dramatic interpretations of the Ati people and the Barter of Panay legend. In 1977, broadcaster Pacifico Sudario coined the term Dinagyang from Dagyang, meaning merrymaking. The name gave the festival its own identity, setting it apart from Aklan's Ati-Atihan while affirming its Ilonggo character. From here, Dinagyang took on the structure, creativity and scale that would eventually earn it national acclaim. And so, the modern Dinagyang was born from a fusion of two worlds, a pre-colonial legend that shaped Ilonggo culture and a Catholic devotion that shaped Ilonggo faith. As Dinagyang grew in scale, its artistic backbone became the Ati tribe's competition, a grand display of synchronized choreography, massive props, rhythmic drum ensembles, and tribal portrayals. Performers paint their bodies in dark tones, symbolizing the Ati. They don vibrant headdresses, feathered costumes, and ornate accessories. Through dance, they reenact stories. The arrival of the datus, the exchange with the Ati, the symbolic celebrations of peace and prosperity. But Dinagyang is not an anthropological reenactment. It is a creative interpretation, a cultural expression informed by legend, but shaped by contemporary artistry. From its choreography to its costume design, Dinagyang is a festival of imagination, a living canvas of Ilonggo identity and pride. In recent years, Dinagyang has expanded far beyond its religious roots. The festival now includes illumination, an illuminated nighttime parade showcasing glowing costumes and light-enhanced tribal performances. It includes massive productions at Iloilo Business Park and other venues, blending culture, commerce, and creativity. And yet, despite all the spectacle, the lights, the movement, the artistry, and the national awards, the heart of Dinagyang remains the same: devotion to Señor Santo Niño. The festival continues to include solemn masses, religious processions, novenas, and offerings of thanksgiving. What makes Dinagyang especially unique is how it balances its identities. It is cultural, but not purely historical. It is spiritual, but not exclusively religious. It is competitive, but also celebratory. It honors history while embracing creativity. It pays homage to faith while elevating artistry. At its heart, Dinagyang stands as a cultural narrative, one shaped by the history of Iloilo, the devotion of its people, and the legends that connect them to their past. Over the years, this distinct blend of tradition and artistry has earned Dinagyang national acclaim, setting it apart among Philippine festivals. To understand its place in the wider cultural landscape, it's helpful to look at other celebrations honoring the Santo Niño, such as Cebu's Sinulog Festival. Both share the same spiritual foundation, yet their forms of expression differ. Sinulog is celebrated for its smooth, wave-like motions, while Dinagyang is known for its brisk, high-energy performance style, creating two festivals that are united in faith but uniquely defined in character. Still, both festivals are beautiful in their own right. Each reflects the culture, history, and character of its community, and each stands as a testament to the Filipino spirit: joyful, proud, expressive, and deeply faithful. At its core, Dinagyang tells a story of people, of place, of legend, and of devotion. And that story has resonated across the Philippines, making Dinagyang one of the country's most awarded festivals, so consistently celebrated and nationally recognized that media outlets and cultural writers often hail it as the queen of all Philippine festivals, a title popularized through repeated praise, especially as the festival continues to earn major awards from organizations like the Association of Tourism Officers of the Philippines, or ATOP. This is why Dinagyang is more than a celebration. It is a cultural tapestry woven from ancient legend, colonial history, indigenous imagery, Catholic faith, and modern creativity. When the drums begin to thunder on the streets of Iloilo, it is not just a performance. It is the island's history vibrating across time. It is a legend given life through movement. It is faith expressed through artistry. It is Iloilo telling its story, a story of how its people came to be, how they choose to remember, and how they celebrate who they are. Dinagyang is not just danced, it is lived, felt in the heartbeat of the drums, in the unity of performers, in the devotion of believers, and in the pride of the Ilonggo people. At the center of all this remains the Santo Niño, the Holy Child, whose presence transformed a simple parish procession into a global cultural phenomenon. Because ultimately, Dinagyang is an offering of gratitude, joy, identity, and faith. This is Dinagyang, born from legend, rooted in faith, elevated by culture, and sustained by its people. A story as old as Panay and as alive as Iloilo today. What do you think about Dinagyang Festival's connection to the Barter of Panay? Isn't it fascinating how a centuries-old pre-colonial legend has evolved into one of the Philippines' most vibrant and iconic festivals? From its roots in the historic tale of the Atis and Malay settlers, Dinagyang has grown into a cultural celebration recognized nationwide for its energy, color, and deep sense of heritage. Thank you very much for watching.